And good afternoon. How'd you like that for an entrance? Woo! I'll start off with some music. Actually, let me just see here. I'll start off with the very first one here. Yeah, I'll start with a little big band music here for you. And here we go. Crowd roars, everybody. Ah!
Yay!
So what I'm going to do today, what I thought I'd do is have some fun on the various models here. I'm going to play a lot of short songs, or as I've heard someone used to call it, songettes, a lot of songettes. And I'm going to kind of share what I did in each of the songs. So I'm going to bounce around on all three of the models. This is being recorded, so when I put it out there for some of the owners to see it, so I'm going to bounce around on the different instruments. People get to see it. I'll reference their model. So what I'm going to do is I'll start over here on our beginner's model here. And let me move that chair. This is our Discovery 3. And the Discovery 3 actually was designed, or I shouldn't say, well, it was designed by, oh, I'm cut off there. Woo! Okay, I'll have to do this. Actually, I'm going to tell my cameraman to move over. Move over, cameraman. Yes, sir. All right. Was designed by our staff members, myself, Joe Fontesha, Don, and everybody that we have on board at Fletcher Music, and was programmed by Bill Curry, who programmed the Lowrey organs for many, many years. So there's a lot of similarities in this as well as the Easy series. So, for example, when I push the mellow button, it comes up with a style called Easy 8-beat. On the Easy series, that's referred to as Easy 4/4. And they both come up with a beautiful piano and strings combination at a nice slow tempo. There's a lot of great songs you can play with this. If I just use the setup that it gives me, we'll have something like this. Very pretty, isn't it? Now, is the volume okay over there?
Yeah.
So far about the same? Okay. The reason why I ask is very tricky. A couple of these models, when I hook them up, I have to hook them up through the headphone jack. So what happens is there's no sound coming out of here. And then I have to rely on the sound that I have it hooked up to hear it, but I can't put it too loud, otherwise I feed back. So it becomes a little strange. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to adjust my audio a tiny bit here. All right. Okay. All right. Moving along, I'm going to go back to our Discovery 3. Again, as I play a style, I like to just kind of show off some of the songs that you can play with some of these. The other one that I like to use here is just a good old-fashioned rock 8-beat. And the rock 8-beat is really fun. You can do I play lots of songs like La Bamba to Proud Mary works great with that. Actually, I'll do both. Here we go. Sometimes I like to do it a little faster. Here we go. Now, if I hit the right chord, we'll be okay, right? So there's a lot that comes out in a small package. I know if some of you have the smaller model, then you you know, there's a lot of great fun things you could do with these. Believe it or not, for the Discovery 3 owners, I'm not going to go into detail with this, but this is something that you can ask your personal assistants with. I discovered actually recently, I don't see if Joe knows this, you may know this too, but in some of the beginners models in the past, when you're limited on what you could do to adjust the volume of the model. So in other words, they had certain volume settings, but there were certain things you couldn't do. By accident one day, and this was like recently, I accidentally pushed the 2 accompaniment buttons on here, and when I did, it said bass, and then I did it again, it said left, and it said style. So I can actually, when the instrument sets up, the automatic setup, the auto setup sets it up with a ideal setting for that style. That means the left hand is balanced at a certain volume, the right hand is balanced at a certain volume, the band. But some people want more drums, some people want more bass, and what have you. And you could actually individually change those. I will save that for another time, or I'll tell you to encourage you to talk to your personal assistants on how to do that. And they also given us an option to use these beautiful left-hand string sounds on the instrument. So that's kind of nice too. Now what I'm going to do is jump over here and I'm going to kind of do 2 organs in one now. And then I'll end up on the one in between, which normally I go and work in progression, but I'm going to do things a little differently today. So for those of you who have the Easy 4, Easy 10, if you're watching this, it might be, is that Connie Geth? Connie, is that you?
Yes.
So you have the Easy 10 where you're at, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Next
so
week
I'll do a little bit of the Easy 10 now, Easy 4, Easy 10. So I'll reference both models as I go. I can only hook up so many instruments at once. So luckily the Easy 4 is in the 10, so I can reference both models at the same time. Some of my favorite things that I like to do on this model is very simply the setups that are built into the style setup. So I'll pick a rhythm style here, and let's see, how about I do that one, or this one's always a good fun one to do. And listen very closely as I play. So I'm going to put on the Broadway Guitarist, which gives me the trained style. All right, the train can sort of be gotten on the Easy 4 through the song setup. All right, so if you pull up the song setup to She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain, it'll kind of give you the train. But on here, what I'm going to do is use the setup, style setup, and then as I'm playing, I'm going to use these 5 buttons. And so you have 5 plus the style setup. So the 6 gives you 6 different setups for every style. But listen closely to the band. The sound will change, but listen closely to the band. Sometimes the band changes when we do this. So let's start, make sure I have the volume set where it's supposed to. Let's see. Oh, let me change. Cameraman, can you move the camera for me?
Yes, sir, Robert. I'll take care of that right now.
Cameraman's going to take care of that for me. Come on, very quickly. I got people watching.
Okay, I got it.
There, my cameraman helped me out very quickly. All right, so we'll start off with the initial setup. If you pull up the song setup to She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain, it'll give you the song set, it'll give you the train. But on here, as I'm playing, I'm going to go through the presets. And as I play, just listen to the band. I'll point it out as we do it. So let's start off with the initial here. Let me put on my ABC light so I could make sure to not hit a bad note.
All aboard.
So if you hear the band, I'm going to put on number 1. Listen closely. Let's see if it makes any change. Here's the difference. You hear that? So you hear a banjo player in there. And when I put on number 1, the banjo player went away, but the guitar player is still there. Okay, now let's watch what happens when I do number 2. No, the band's still the same, all right. But the sounds will change. Oh, you hear number 3? The drummer came in, but the background is doing something a little different. Let's turn that up a little bit. I don't know what that is. You hear it? Hear that little... And I think if I do 4, the whole bluegrass band comes in. To fake it. I don't feel like doing a fiddle solo. Woo! Well, I'm having fun. I hope you are too. So what happens is when you pick your initial style in these style setup, on all of the Easy series, if that same style exists, it'll give you the same setup, okay? And then if you go into the additional setups, it not only changes the sound for you, Connie, the Easy 10, sometimes that 1, 2, and 3 will change the band as well. So for example, I'll play a little something with this. This is the classical piano style. All right, you have a piano player. you push number 1, it changes to a harpsichord player. 3 changes to a harp. So let's go back to the first one. Here the fill-in. Number 1, harpsichord, harp. And number 3, oh, like an organ. So they all change on this one so far. And then 4, I think. All right, now I'll come on over here. I'll bounce back and forth a little bit. I got to tell my cameraman to move and get the camera angle right.
Okay, Robert, I got it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Did he do a good job? All right. Are you keeping an eye on the waiting room? You can admit somebody? Okay, thanks. Otherwise, I'll keep getting up. It's not how I want to burn my calories. So on the Freedom 3, can you see that from there? Okay, I have it turned on. Let's see. One of the things that we like to do with a lot of these models is the 2 features that we constantly encourage using is the song feature and the song setup feature. Because the song feature plays the songs, and if you're newer in the hobby and you're learning some of the songs, it's really good to hear those songs so you can play them. If you like a setup for that song, you can take the song that's playing and use it as a setup. And then if you have the song set up, it actually sets it up for that song. So you have 2 song setups if you have both. All right. So for example, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to find something here. Sometimes, not always, sometimes if you put on a song setup, the song setup is actually a little different than what the song does. So if I put on, let's see here. Okay, that would be a good one. I'm just trying to find. Bear with me here. Okay. So here's the train style that you heard earlier. This land is your land. Now I'm going to press stop. If you like that setup, what you can do is press stop, turn the song button off, and then play the song. Now I happen to have that song here, so I don't goof it up. All right. So now I have the song button off, but I'm going to use the exact same setup that the song recording just did. So then you just play it. So you have all the songs that are built in there, they technically being used as a song setup as well. Most of the time they set it up very similar to that of the song setup. Occasionally you'll put on a song setup and it'll give you a different setup than the way it was recorded, which is kind of interesting. So one of the things, I go into the song setup here, and let's say I want to play, Alley Cat. I just press select and it sets it all up for me to play Alley Cat. Yeah, thank you. Actually, we'd applaud the organ because I did all the work really, right? Let's see. There's another one in here. Well, we'll get to that one a little later. But so I'll play a couple more songs and I'll come on over here and I'll use song setup actually for both. So when I do song setup, and a lot of times on the different organs, they'll do different song setups from organ to organ. Well, what's really cool is a lot of the styles are on, and similar styles are in similar organs. So if you ever hear a song set up on one organ, you could do it on yours. So for example, let me do a song setup for When the Saints Go Marching In. Okay, and I'm going to hit select, and this is what it gives me. It gives me a nice, good standard. And I would play the song. And so forth. Now, if I play the song recording, I believe it'll give me the exact same setup. Let's see, When the Saints start. So it is the same style. Now, for you Freedom 3 owners out there, if you're using this, there's a feature you can do which calls melody off. And if you turn that off, it turns off the melody so I can play the song. So now I'm playing the melody, and the rest of the organ is doing the left hand, everything else. And I notice as I'm listening to the song, it changed rhythms too. It switched in the middle. Now if I like that setup, I'm going to stop it before it finishes and then turn off the song button. Now I have another setup for that song, which is now the big band rhythm. Now, what's interesting is if I do song setup over here, camera guy, move my camera, please.
Yes, sir. Coming right up. Robert.
This is what I do all day. I talk to myself. I keep telling myself what to do all day long. I'm pretty bossy. Now let's just for fun, let's put up the song setup, and let's just see what happens. When the Saints Go Marching In, okay? Now this is the song setup. Let's see what it gives me. So it gives me actually a totally different style altogether. It gives me like a gospel. So my point is this: if you happen to be at a Fletcher Music Centers, if you go to some of the organs that have song setups and you have that same song setup in yours, it's good to kind of check them out and see what they do. So like on here, it gave me a swing and a big band. Well, if I like that, I go, well, that's not a bad idea. Then I can turn around and come over here, and we have a few gospel styles here. And I can pick the, well, let's see, I don't know if this is similar. Let's see. No, not that one. There it is. Yeah. Get it the right tempo you want. more. And then you say, well, I'll do a medley. Do When the Saints. See, a lot of fun. Yeah. Oh, the crowd roars. Joe was supposed to be my crowd. Yeah, he's applauding. But he's on mute, so then I can't hear him. So I have to do the sound effect for him.
Yay!
I'm having fun. I don't know. I always have fun with music. All right. So where was I? Oh, so songs and song setups. We come back to that a lot. The thing with the songs and the song setups that I find is the more some people use them, sometimes we get caught in a trap that, oh, I'm going to do song setup and I've played Whispering Hope so many times, I don't want to use that song setup anymore. Well, let's see what it sets up. Select, and I'll put on a C chord. Okay, that's nice. All right, so don't get caught in the trap that I have to use the same song setup for the same song every time. So what I just heard was a beautiful 3/4, and I'm going to take the exact same song setup, and instead of playing Whispering Hope, I'm going to play something else in a waltz. And this is something that we commonly encourage students to do. And it's really easy. All you have to do is go through your styles, play one major chord, it could be a simple C chord, and listen to it. Then put the same rhythm style on and just play a minor chord and listen to it. And you're going to find you have different flavors of styles. So here's the same 3/4, the nice beautiful guitar 3/4 for Whispering Hope. That's a C chord. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is take the same rhythm. Just turn myself up over here so I can hear me a little more. I'm going to take the same rhythm and play a minor chord and watch what happens. And there's a lot of great songs you can play. And I'm doing this one in D minor. See if you name the tune. What month are we in? September? October, November? Yes. You're getting close to having to learn our holiday and Christmas tunes. Here we go. Very pretty, beautiful style. And so you can have a lot of fun with just going through the styles and listening to them both ways. And it may trigger a song to play with it. Here's one that I commonly do on this one here. Let's see. So some people figure it out when they play it. So, you know, if you do this one here, triplets, 6/8 guitar. If you do the same thing with a minor chord, you get. So it's great for that song by I forget the name of their group. House of the Rising Sun. the rest without the music. Oops. And you can't change the chord in the middle of the ending. It'll just sound a little funny. Any questions so far about anything that I've talked about? No?
No,
Barbara?
no,
Connie?
I'm fine. Everything's good.
I'm doing good?
Enjoying it.
Say it louder, so because I'm being recorded.
We're enjoying it.
Okay.
Enjoying
Any question? Any other question about anything I've done so far?
And we like the cameraman.
The cameraman's a good guy. He's a good camera guy. Every time I need him to change angles, he's there for me. All right, I'll play a few more songs. Let me go back to the little guy over here. Hey, Robert, can you change the camera?
You got it, sir.
His name's Robert, too. I'm going to come over to the little guy here. Little guy. This is fun. So here's an example. I'm going to take the mellow, which is... let me scoop myself in there. There we go. So here's the mellow, the easy 4/4. That is, it's pretty much on all the models. So this is the C chord. Okay, beautiful. Here's the ending. Okay, so that can be found on the Esteys under the Mellow button. That's on the Discovery 3 and the Freedom 3. Okay? On the Easy series, it's found on the Smooth button. Okay? If you do a minor chord, it makes it look much more dramatic. Watch. Yeah, let me speed up the tempo just a little bit. Here we go. Take 2, I hit the wrong chord. Very dramatic. So you can have a lot of fun with going through the styles that you have and just listening to the major introductions and endings and the minor introductions and endings. And of course, no, you stay there, Mr. Roman, the camera angle. This is good.
You got it. Yes, sir.
I'm a great, my cameraman's a great cameraman. Oh, I'll have some fun with that. Okay, coming on over here to this beautiful style. A lot of the styles that you're hearing here are kind of interesting because the same guy who programmed these organs programmed this one for us. There's a lot of the same characteristics in the styles, but what's really cool is that he didn't write them exactly the same way, and because he had to change some of the music the way it was written, it makes it a style that's the same but different at the same time. So something that we love. So for example, when I put on I have a couple of slow styles that I like on here. One of them is called Wonderful 6/8. And then there's another one here. And I'll just play a little bit of this. Wonderful 6/8 was modeled after a style called Wonderful World, with a slight change in the way the introduction notes are and what have you. Listen, but absolutely gorgeous. Very, very pretty. Another slow one that I love on here is one they call Smooth 16 Beat. This was actually taken off of one of the flagship models. On the flagship model, it's called, I think it's just called 16 Beat. And so he took that style, replayed the notes differently, and then we have something like this. Very pretty, soothing. Fun, right? Yeah. Come back over here. I'm getting my workout today, aren't I? Burning my calories. Okay, Mr. Cameraman, you got to move it.
You got it. Yes, sir.
Wow. Never misses a beat, that cameraman. I'm going to have to give him a raise. Of course, I like to have some fun with these. I could be here all day playing all these wonderful styles. So if you have the Easy series, you may not be able to see it from that angle, but what we have here is 12 button categories. And what they did for the Easy owners, and we kind of did the same thing on the Esteys actually, but the Easy 1 and the 2 have 6 of these categories. On the Easy 1, it has 6 categories, and then you have a pianist version of each of those. On the Easy 2, you have the 6 categories with a full band pianist and a guitarist category. On the Easy 4, you have 8 of these categories, full band pianist and guitarist, and on the Easy 10, you have 12 of the categories, full band pianist, guitarist. So what happens is, depending on what model you have, as you transition, it makes it easy to find the styles if you were used to using, for example, standards full band. Oh, I love that style. Well, it's in the same place. Or if I'm used to using the rock category, those styles. And with the Estey and the Freedom 3, we did the same thing. So you have 8 categories of styles, and then over here, those same 8 are here, but they break them up into 9 categories, and then each of those 9 give you more. So they just made it so that if you're transitioning from one model to the next, you don't have to relearn what you already know. You just want to learn where the new goodies are. So in here, for example, I can spend all day on here, but I just go to the Broadway category as an example, and just the full band, and we get something really fun here. Let me see, make sure my volume, because the Broadway tends to get a little loud. Let's get my audio set up here. Let's see what happens. Whoops, intro. Okay. I have to get on my sound man's case. He was supposed to check out all these volumes. The cameraman's doing a great job. The sound man, I don't know. Who's the sound man? Oh, that's me. I can't fire myself though, because then I won't be able to do these classes. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Let me use the presets now. Number 1. Now here's the fill-in with where it's set. Let's see what happens when I go to number 1 if it changes. It's not as busy, which is nice. Ooh, you didn't know I could whistle, did you? I'm a pro. What was that? Is that the what's the Benny Hill show? I don't know where that came from. Number 2, and let's listen. I put number 3 and listen to the background, like organ chippy flute organ sounds. All right. Well, I'm having fun. Hope you're learning something along the way. I'm sharing what I'm doing, which was my main goal today. I'll finish up with one little fun number here for you. Okay. I'm going to do a little Bill Haley rock around the clock here, and we'll have some fun. I'm just going to use what's called the let's see, the 50s rock and roll. Something similar on the Easy series would be if you go to your rock button and the guitars, it gives you a 50s guitar rock, which is a very similar flavor. And on here, they call it 50s rock and roll. Okay? We hope you enjoyed the class today and the music, and you learned a thing or two. We always say if you can learn at least one thing by coming here today, then it's worth it. Okay? I hear Dawn's classes. I don't know, some of you watch Dawn. She teaches several days a week. And she sends me the recorded classes. In the beginning of each class, I listen to the first 5 minutes as I'm setting it up, getting it ready to post where it needs to post. And so I hear her talking for a little bit about the song or what have you. And she frequently says to a lot of her classes, if you walk away with one thing you could learn at each of the classes, that it's worth it. Okay? Sometimes we teach 5 or 6 things and it doesn't all sink in, but you'll walk out with one thing, go, you know what? I'm glad that was worth it. Okay? But anyway, I'm going to have a little fun here, put a little 50s rock and roll and see if I can count for you.
1, 2, 3.
I'm just holding down the fill, changing the chord from C, F, G to F and C. And it kind of did it in the song, and then it went back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give a round of applause to our Discovery 3, Freedom
Good
3, Easy
Good
10,
job.
and if you have an Easy 1, 2, or 4, they're in the 10. And all those people that, thank you so much. We hope you learned lots today. Now, if you have any questions about anything we've talked about, reach out to your personal assistants. And if you're not sure who that is, I'm going to say call Joe.
Call me.
He's easy to get a hold of. Just call our corporate office. All right. All of our stores, by the way, are listed on our website. You can find our locations. Joe actually was one of the original designers of the first Esteys.
Question.
Yeah, so he
Question.
knows
Question.
a little. He knows a thing or two. He's been in the music
We have a
industry.
question.
Question.
Oh, got a question? Yep.
Is that the Easy 10?
Say again.
Is that the Easy 10?
This one here.
Oh, yes.
This one here is the Easy 10.
Okay, you were pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where is that on the Easy 4, or doesn't it have it?
It doesn't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has the style setup 0.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if you chose a style over here,
Yes.
you have the style setup. What you do get is a setup on the top, and you get a setup on the lower right.
Okay.
You always get a setup for the top of and the bottom.
Yes.
Okay. And then for the couple of Easy 10 owners out there, you just take it a step further if you want the 1 through 5.
Okay, thank you.
Phyllis, what store are you nearby?
The one that closed, unfortunately.
Which one was that?
Osprey. Osprey.
Osprey?
Yes.
We have a lot of the students there that are in touch with our store near Sun City, what have you. Joe Fontesha, he helps out a lot over the phone, sometimes on Zoom. So,
Okay.
what's your last name, Phyllis? I'll have him give you a call sometime.
Bertram.
Okay. I'll tell him give you a jingle sometime, answer some other questions if you need it, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'll cut that part out so people don't know that Phyllis Bertram and thousands of people on the internet, spam calls, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
I could clip that part out. Anyway, all right, well, I hope that you enjoyed today's session. Oh, better do it like this so my head's not caught off.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you so much for joining me
Thanks,
today.
Robert.
Hope you learned at least one thing today. And I always say, play music every day, stay safe, and mwah, everybody.
Good
Thank you,
job.
Robert.
Good job.